Hi guys, welcome back, and we're now going to be looking at the trio version of John Mayer. So this is when he was in a band called Trio, which is made up of him and two other awesome musicians, like proper session players, an amazing drummer, an amazing bass player. And really the music that comes out of that is blues, it's raw, and it's actually, to be honest, my favourite time of John Mayer, because I think it's when he indulges himself in the stuff that he really loves to play, and it really shows. I mean, it's a really strong album, and if you haven't heard it, then I'd highly recommend going to get it. It's just called John Mayer Trio. So we're looking at the kind of technique on a couple of those songs, and it's very much based in the kind of Stevie Ray Vaughan style technique, where you're very much kind of making a bigger sound than you almost should be able to from the guitar. So, for example, rather than playing, two notes together like this, playing them like this. So like attacking them. So you're actually almost strumming through these notes. And the way that you do that, we're going to talk about. So the technique behind that and muting all the other notes, that's something we're going to be trying to get over the next set of lessons. Okay? But this actual track is what we're going to be going through. So I'm just going to start in this lesson by taking you through the notes of the track. No other technique, nothing else, just the notes of the main riff. Okay? Now it's all based around A7. Okay? So the first riff, which is this, let me just play it through for you quickly. I'll do it in its full respect. It sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the first bit we need to go through and get correct, okay? So, like I said, it's based around A7. Okay, so just the basic, you can play it as a bar chord. I like to play it with my thumb over the top. We'll talk about that in a minute. So it's an A dominant 7th chord. And in terms of the scale that we're using, we're actually combining that A7 with a minor pentatonic shape 1. Okay, so nice and simple. Shape 1 pentatonic in A and A7. So that's where all the notes are coming from for this particular riff. Okay, you'll find, just as a side note, that it's very common to also see the major shape 2 underneath that particular chord shape, because this invites major as well as minor due to the construction of the chord, because you've got, as well as the major third, you've got a flattened 7th, so you can have that major element and the minor element of the flattened 7th. So that's just a little side note. We'll come back to that another time, especially when we look at more blues stuff, and of course it's all available in the theory section. So let's go through this. So in terms of notes, we simply start with the low A. Okay, and I'll be playing that with my thumb. It's just a comfortable position for me. You'll see John Mayer always playing that with his thumb. If you can't do that, then just take your first, second, third finger. It doesn't really matter. All that matters is, in terms of the next lick, depending on what fingers you use to play this next bit will depend on which finger you use to play the initial note, okay? But the initial note is A, and it stops immediately, okay? Then we're gonna go like this, okay? So all we're doing here is we're just sliding in. So in terms of frets, I've got 4th fret and 5th fret on the D and G string, and I slide up a semitone, okay? And we actually hear both notes, okay? Now, in terms of theory, what we're doing is here, we've got the flattened 7th note and the major third from the A7, okay? So we've got the kind of two key elements to that chord in one double note, okay? And that's why we use it, because it really highlights the A7, and it's just a cool sound. That the sliding into it is just to add tension and then to release it, okay? So we go from... Now I use those two fingers, but you're welcome to use whichever two fingers you prefer. And again, like I said, if you're using, for example, the first finger to do that, then it makes sense to use the two fingers. But if you're using this finger, it might make sense to use the first two fingers. So totally up to you, that bit. Now, once we've done that bit, we're going to simply go to the 5th fret. So we're back in the pentatonic shape 1 here. And we're going to hammer on from 5 to 7 on the D string. Okay, then we're going to go 5, 7, 5. So that's G string. Notice how it's all very staccato. It's not, it's all, you stop the note almost as soon as you play it. Then we do the same thing again. But there, where we would have gone to the higher bit, we just go down to the 5th fret, so that's the D note, and we go down, up. We just hit it like that, okay? So again, stopped, dead. So the whole riff, once round, is this. And you need to go around it twice, okay? So this is all your first task is, just to get the notes right and the rhythm, okay? We're not going to do the right hand technique quite yet. We'll talk about that next lesson. But what we do want to get is the notes in the right place rhythmically, okay? So I'm going to put a drum beat on at 60 BPM, okay? And we're going to play along to that in exactly the correct way, but of course without the full strumming of the right hand, okay? So it sounds like this. So try and play along with me as you get this, okay? So I'm going to count us in. I'm going to go around it 4, 5, maybe 6 times, just so you can really start to get a feel for it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. Let's go again. Again. As you get better at it, just start to widen up your right hand. So you're not as accurate, you're not as tight to the string. So that's tight to the strings. Just start to try and loosen that up a bit. Okay, and we'll stop there. If you can start gradually loosening up with that right hand, so rather than we get, just a little bit more bouncy with the right hand, then it's going to help a lot in the next lesson. So use the tab to just kind of highlight that particular section and play along to it like that until you've got it together, you're comfortable with it, and then I'll see you next time.